Okay, Harry.
Alright guys, welcome to the very bonus episode to the Fruity Tales Worst, no, Dave and the Giant Lemon. For 5th episode, we are talking about the reaction things that comes to Terry with some people. Table read.
So, hello everyone, I'm Mike Schneider from Variety, and talk about a reunion. First off, I think you guys, you killed the Mandalorian with sperm. He was not expecting the amount of sperm that he got in this episode. So,
well, he should pay more attention to his Jedi prophecies. it was in the comic books.
It is so good to see all of you. As a matter of fact, in honor of Community Monkey, I've got Annie's boobs on my chest right now.
Monkey.
Immune Monkey. I know you guys. Yeah, Joel and Ken, you guys were talking about this on your podcast the other week about how Crystal the monkey was threatening to overshadow everyone else. So
it was becoming animal practice very quickly.
They hoped.
Yeah, she had.
Well, thank you so much for all joining in, and I see the star of FX's Atlanta has joined us as well. So
give it up for Ken
on my to-watch list.
And John.
Yeah, and John. I don't know how you get away with saying the N-word so much, but it kills every time.
Childish John Bino, I think it is the top name.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Ken, for joining us as well. But for all of you, I have questions here from fans, but before we begin, we have a special video question from one particular Uber fan that I think we're going to play right now. And
a driver?
You can answer. So
great.
Hey gang, my name's Damon, and I'm a huge fan. My question is actually about the next episode, geothermal escapism. And considering we are all still sort of sheltering in place here, I was wondering if you had any lava tips for us at home, and still waiting for the movie. Love you guys.
Dan, maybe you jump in with some lava facts.
He thinks it's going to be a little Disney and has he has to like banana. Mr. Banana likes Harry.
First of all, have you guys seen The Hunt? It's amazing. And he's killing it on The Watchmen. Those are my answers. Anyways, but no, lava tips. I mean, we had to think about hot lava so much for that episode that I never played it as hard as the characters play it. So the caterpillar, is my go-to. I mean, you just watch the episode, use that stuff. I got a boring answer. Everyone else go.
Keep your furniture close enough so that when you have to jump, that you don't kill yourself. That's mine.
Rolling chair, broom.
I was about to say, brooms are really important.
Things to push off for sure.
Plungers.
Yeah. Another space.
Thanks, Damon, for that question. Love Watchmen.
There was one other celebrity who entered a question, actually. Blake Griffin wanted to know where he could get community merch. And actually, I still have this. You guys remember Yahoo?
Yes.
Oh my God.
We bankrupted them. They were
before.
It was us, right? We did.
Yeah, it was us.
I think it was us. Yeah.
It was us, and only
They
us.
literally put that in writing.
Dan's still wearing the Yahoo purple, though, so I appreciate it.
You know, his parents look exactly. Get this down with a separate from my leg, and who's standing around like that?
A lot of questions from the fans. One of the obvious ones that a lot of people have been asking, because it sure feels like it right now, for a fact, are we living in the darkest timeline?
Well, hey there, Mark. How's it going? What's up, Billy? So we were talking about reactions. Yeah, well, we're talking about reaction to things, but acting like be a bonus episode of Fruity Tales thing. And we're talking about this, guys. Oh, I see. So, if only Method came to the show and then, superhero, we end up talking that to the real whole different direction of Batman and Spider-Man. Once these shows have problems, and we're about the Fruity Tales poster. Oh, wow, Fruity Tales poster. I think you're right, Billy. You are really good at it right now. Why, thank you.
And how often do people bring that up to all of you, knowing that you sort of, in some ways, the prophecy is true. We ended up on this really dark, dark path. Dan, darkest timeline?
Yeah, it's a boring answer, but yeah. I mean, life's been good to me.
Yeah, it's a boring answer. That's pretty funny.
I'm woodworking and in my soundproof garage, and but yeah, I don't like to get on the internet because I do agree with myself from 10 years ago that things are getting bad.
You know, they told me that said we ain't mean shit. You know, they said my brother said he when I was hungry, I will kill it, and some of that. But yeah, we surgically have been problems. It's like real prophecy is a mushroom kingdom.
Pretty bleak. I hear it every day.
Oh, yeah.
We do have Donald here. You know, one of the big questions that the fans constantly have to ask is the fate of Troy. You know, last we heard, he and LeVar Burton were lost at sea.
Really?
You know, Donald, where do you think Troy is now? Did he come and rescue Abed? Where do you think he is circa 2020?
I mean, in the community world, he's definitely dead.
He's not. No, you're gonna kill Dan. Stop it.
I made a pact with Chevy Chase that if he left, I would leave. So it's dark either way, right? I don't know. No, I don't know. I feel like he's probably.
I'm gonna tell you.
Man, I feel like I'm like what am I doing? Am I like writing the movie on the fly or something? Well, he's probably lost.
Wow, you're like a second zoo or singing the video, and the music mistakes how to be objects. I'm pretty sure you was talking about imaginary some peoples. I'll do all this work for nothing. This is like me a stream with that guy. This is so like the only one to see.
Lost. I feel like it's like Abed's gotta find him. Like I like those movies.
Oh, looks like the master is right. You should have been proved.
Yeah.
I have a weird fan question about that because I watched the whole season today and I saw the end of that episode with you and LeVar in the boat in the tag where you asked Star Wars questions, all right, Star Trek questions. But we did a tag where it's just LeVar like yelling at someone in traffic. We shot that, remember? Like where it's like LeVar Burton like yelling. He's like they're in a traffic jam in Colorado, and LeVar Burton is like the joke is just that LeVar Burton is
like angry.
Does not handle his anger well, and like, he's willing to throw his reading rainbow cloud around, and like he's like, oh, I see what you're doing, lady. Like he's like yelling at people. But I know we not only shot it, we edited it. And I was just wondering, like,
where is that?
I don't know. I guess I thought maybe for a second, are the Netflix edits like airplane edits, and did we use a longer tag? But
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
I don't.
I would just wonder said there was no escaping and it had been passed. So the object is permissions. It's kind of works. So every company get control of every prices, and they told me about we're just not claiming this shit. Everything you know that water shop and blue scans with a bubble are pretty correct. I think it's really confused. Oh yeah, Billy. This is like hard to say, but it might be a joke of Starship and Space French allowed to be teams. Wow, you can saw that again.
it was not only written, it was definitely shot. I remember seeing it in the edit bay. There's a secret ending to the where it's not as hopeful.
That's like our clue. We have 3 different endings to that one.
I love Clue.
You need to find that. Danny, from your perspective, where do you think Abed eventually finds Troy? Where do you think Abed is now?
Oh my God. I love the idea of Troy being lost, and Abed's mission is to go find him, try to track someone down. That could be kind of fun.
It writes itself.
Yeah.
We'll do some Die Hard references.
Moving on, another question from Bill Danny. He wants to know, in the multiple timeline episode with the back and forth between Joel and Danny discussing the opening of alternate timelines, did you have to say those lines over and over again? How much breaking was there? What was sort of the process between you two.
Is that case?
I don't remember.
I feel a lot better.
I have no idea.
I
don't remember that episode.
What the hell are you talking?
I think this was the Murder She Wrote you guys did.
I think we ended up saying it a lot of times, but I think in the edit, did you end up using the same take over and over again?
What episode?
Is that the timeline where it's like, hey, just so you know, Jeff, I stopped you before you're about to throw the die. If you throw that die, you're creating different timelines?
Season 3.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
Chaos, right?
Yeah, remedial chaos theory. I think
Remedial chaos.
we ended up doing it a bunch of times, but I don't know which one, if we used the exact same one.
Oh, they're asking if you did it 6 different times.
Did you edit the same take?
Great work figuring out the question, you guys.
What's great is when
Such a great team.
the answer to the question is just to reiterate the question in a different way. Moving on.
Next question, please. I know the question. The scene that we actually had to do the most takes is when Ken could not say, "Don't embarrass me from my child." Cover it with classical music.
Yes.
That took hours, and we never got through it.
I don't think he ever.
Yeah,
I don't
we
think
never
we
got
ever.
through it.
I don't think we ever. Yeah.
Never got a take.
You guys managed to stretch a budget. You know, I know you never had a huge budget, but you did manage to stretch it and find unique ways to play with it. And so,
Yeah, by never going on location ever, except for the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And not going outside after
Ever. Yeah, like we were.
There was a scene where Donald and I were outside, and we were finally shooting outside of our soundstage, still in the Paramount lot, and we were doing a take, and I was like, "What's that noise?" And I realized it was a bird chirping, and it'd been so long since we'd been outside that I forgot.
I didn't remember that. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that Ken, for some reason, I feel like Ken was the one who broke the most. Is that true, Ken?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was
Not just the one who broke the most, but the one who tried to get everybody else to break the most.
But then the one who broke himself the most.
Yeah, laughing at your own self.
Yes.
Yeah. There was a lot of breaking, but at the table, I feel like once we got after lunch, I always felt like after lunch we would all be kind of like a little like dreamy, and then something would happen, and then we just couldn't break out of it. Like we just be stuck in that for a minute. I remember. Do you guys remember that episode where I forgot where it's just like stop believing? And like I say I knew it, and then like Joel, you slapped me. Like you remember like that, and he's like stop letting him remind you of things, like remember things. You can see it in the shot. You can see it in the shot. Me trying not to laugh. Everybody else is like trying not to laugh. You really slapped me. And I was like, this is. And we had laughed already like 4 times. And I was like, please stop laughing. He's killing my face. It was great.
Danny today that in the pottery episode in season 1, there's a line where it's like the hilarious guy on guy. I don't know why, and that became one of Danny and I's running jokes forever, but we begged whoever directed it, and maybe it was Anthony Russo, we begged him to let us say the line together at the same time. We're going to put our heads together and say it at the same time. And I do think that there's footage from one of our like behind this, like our outtakes footage of us trying to do it. And I recently rewatched that episode. We never got it. And I just lean my head in and I'm like,
hilarious guy on guy.
So I feel like often we'd beg to try something a certain way, and then finally they'd be like, okay. And then we just laugh too many times and be like, oh, never mind. Move on.
That was, I remember Ken in the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, I think the second one, where David Cross is like singing this like Elven song.
Oh God! We're on the bed.
Yes.
We're on the bed.
Ken is supposed to be sitting right next to David Cross, like really just supposed to be.
I think David was mad at me. I felt bad because we were all on the same bed and I'm just shaking on the bed. And, like there is a take where Cross is looking at me going, Ken.
Ken is just biting his finger as hard as he can to not laugh. And we're watching the camera, and the camera is literally shaking up and down because Ken is shaking the bed.
But it was like you were sick. Like you were like, like really like so weird.
That was a great episode. I've been afraid to watch the second Dungeons and Dragons because it was like, why'd we try to do a sequel?
I watched it this morning.
I know, me too. It was great. It was so great.
How often do you guys watch the show, and have you watched it more now that it's available on both Netflix and Hulu to binge?
It's so easy to fall into it now on Netflix. Like I guess that's a commercial for Netflix, but which really doesn't pay me.
I'll take it from here, Dan.
Really?
For Netflix. I hadn't watched the show since it had originally aired, and I've been in like a community hole.
I hadn't watched in a really long time, and because it was so special to me, it was kind of like in a time capsule, and also because you're nervous, like it's been so many years. What did we do? What did I do? What I look like? All of that. But then when the fans started watching and started chiming in with their favorite episodes or asking questions, that's when I went back down the rabbit hole to kind of see like, oh, that episode, because Danny and Gillian are like the historians. They remember every single thing. Allison's good too. I remember nothing. Nothing.
I'm like you.
If they ask a question, I have to go back and watch it and try to remember where we were when, so I've been watching to answer.
But it makes it, that memory thing makes it amazing to watch.
Because it's brand new. Yeah, it's brand new.
That's me. That's me. I mean, I'm not on screen, but I'm like,
it's the same feeling. No, there's no. But people, we had long days.
Did
so
we?
like I remember.
No, we didn't.
When the
remember
nights,
that, Donald.
I was in and out in an hour.
And you would show that, like, I think we were on Thursday, right? Thursday night. We'd still be shooting, and then you DVR it to watch it, and I would always just come home and just crash. So I would never. There's some episodes I was like, oh yeah, I remember this feeling, but I never saw this episode. Like at all.
Didn't you guys feel like because we shot for so long that we didn't need to really watch it? Like we'd seen everything.
It probably wasn't the thing you wanted to watch when you got home.
But it's the first time I've been on television. Like I was like really like I wanted to see it, but I would be like, I gotta wake up in 4 hours. I'm not watching this show. And now I go back and I'm like, man, this was, I don't know, like it was just really well done. It was such a good show.
Oh my God, shut the fuck up! It's not a dominating. God. Well, we just got about right inside. You was looking and cares, but be irrational, spinning around like that. But he was, you just gotta be a 1-2 to be episodes of this. But I could have been white to see me as be going out to fight for quite a while. The BTS been video films is like the sing along. Original dance, like permission of dance, Okay. Everyone should keep up fighting, It's about spend tapped in California.
What were you saying, Allie?
Oh, I was going to say that there's so much stuff. Well, I was going to say that sometimes on Thursdays we would sneak into the crafty truck and watch the episode.
Right.
It was like we could all get little clips and then we'd have to go back in to shoot.
Yeah. Well, that was when we had the amazing craft truck that was like, which actually served food inside of it.
Before the health department came and started raiding all the food trucks.
This?
It's just we can't let you have this with your ratings.
Nothing's in packaging. Just have a pile of meat in the center of the table.
To cut your own cheese in this one.
I do remember that
Cut your own
they never.
Cheese.
Well, do you guys remember that we never had catering, and then the day that Jack Black guest starred, suddenly we had like lobster and steak.
I totally remember that.
Yes. And we were like, oh, get it. Well, the getting's good.
We looked so sad. Like Jack Black's like, oh, what's going on? We're like sitting there like making our own taking cereal for later, like in our pockets. I totally remember that.
Well, early on, they used to let us leave the lot to go get lunch, and I remember all of us like carpooling to a lunch place nearby
Go to
Paramount.
Larchmont,
And then they realized they couldn't trust us to be back. And then they started ordering lunch for us.
We listened to Donald's your first mixtape, I think. Me, Gil, and Al were riding to Larchmont. We just first released it, and we listened in the car. I remember that.
I just finished that. I did. Yeah, we were going on Melrose.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a good time.
How did the music thing work out for you, Donald?
Maybe you wouldn't change it like that, but nothing must be a freaking band. Yeah, they told me about freaking band. I just got my Father's Day like to be but my dad told me to. They told me about the asshole father, and I definitely don't like it. And to the last day for this moment.
Don't bring it up.
It's still going.
That's so good.
It's still going deep in
Send
here.
a tape or
I get it, Donald, as an artist with my cane. I get it. It's hard to.
Everybody, go to Donald's SoundCloud. He could use some help.
Please.
He's doing some really cool experimental stuff.
I'm doing some really cool stuff.
I also like
Fetty Wap's mom is going to pass it on to Fetty Wap, I heard.
I hope it works out, Donald. I'm rooting
it's
for
gonna.
you.
Oh, don't. It's already has.
Donald.
Okay, listen, that's where it starts, buddy. That's where it starts.
Keep at it. I'm still writing poetry. I'm still doing the poetry.
I feel so bad for Michael because we have all these are inside jokes.
No.
You have like these are.
I'm trying to.
I just want to remind everyone that the question was, are you enjoying watching Community on Netflix now?
Wait a minute. I got one. You told me to.
3 minutes ago.
Guys, hold on. Michael has another shirt he wants to show us.
Okay.
What's the question, Michael?
I do want to point out that, of course, the infamous rap on Community did not come from Donald Glover, but of course came from Mr. Jim Rash.
Well, no shit. You told me to be asking me, like, directed me or something like that, and he would just go with a Barney and driving out to the, watching that road. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have any sticker anymore. You know Heavy doesn't. And there is no way for me to kick him. I bought it, and this down to me, it's got to be $25. Everything I'd be asking for to get your little ass down. It's like, go inside.
The peanut bar.
I don't know, Jim. Do people ask you more about the Oscar or about the Payday rap? I kind of think it's the rap.
Oh, it's absolutely the rap. Absolutely. I don't want to say I invented rap. I don't want to say I made it better. I don't want to make it sound like I streamlined it and made. I guess I just went to a place of artistry.
Yes.
No, that was a very fun to shoot for sure.
Highly enjoyable to watch.
That scene is so enjoyable.
I don't think you ever made it through a take.
How do you rate his rap? How do you rate Jim's rap?
That
Get in there, Jim. Get in there.
and I'm being dead serious. That's the best rap done by anybody dressed like that.
We'll take it. We'll take it.
It is, but it is like
praise, Jim.
when he does the like, let me catch my breath, and he like drops it. Like it's so scary and funny because he's like, I don't know what that was. It's so satisfying because you're like, he feels like he's being taken over completely.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, it's not his right to co-opt that energy, and he does, and he pays the price.
Yeah, he pays the price.
Paid the price. I'm just gonna real quick. I'm sorry. I'm gonna update my resume. Donald Glover, Ed, best rap in a peanut costume. But yes, because I remember
resume right there, Jim. Really?
Yeah, don't worry about it. And facts.
I like how shitty that peanut costume is. He's wearing a pillow with a photo of peanut wallpaper on it.
Well, I want to ask, going back to, so Joel and Ken, you started this podcast where you're talking about COVID and you're talking about community. It's the COVID community podcast.
Great taste.
Well, obviously, it's kind of been funny and, breaking up with that turbidity found what's memories get through it. And obviously, I was so scared of myself, but They don't. Okay, I don't care. Okay, I don't care what we're saying. He doesn't care what he's saying.
Two things that lasted way longer than people thought.
And that couldn't be spread through Nielsen rating.
What has been the big question that you've been asked the most that people want you to address? What are people demanding that you guys bring up on your podcast that the people want to know?
Well, you shouldn't wait before. The writers of prophecy was punished, even though for the Belt BC, it's a comedy station. It's a Fruity Tales Space Jam. Oh wow, Fruity Tales Space Jam. Is that what it thinks about? Yeah, Fruity do about the whole movie. Oh, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Nobody asked you been perfect.
Will remdesivir be a treatment?
Will remdesivir be
therapy that will
FDA approved for non-emergent use? Yeah, I think that's what they want to know.
The virus, it'll keep you in the hospital 11 days instead of 14. So that's
No. He's going to be doing a project. Well, it doesn't have the WILE system for those staying home, and it was like be a journey in second weeks. And technically, we can march up and police. And so, like, yes, we'll definitely do that. Well, if actually that was my life, it's like inside of the timeline, and it's potential not decade. He's giving it through like that.
If the first time you've ever brought medicine into your entertainment career.
But apparently, go ahead, Gillian. You tell me, like, what would I improvise on Community?
Oh, I was saying that Ken always just improvised medical turns, even though he's playing Senior Chang, a Spanish teacher, turned security guard, turned dictator, turned amnesiac.
A lot of turns.
But just all medical improv still.
So, Yvette, and we'll go character by character, actor by actor. Quarantine, what would Shirley be up to? How would she be handling quarantine at this moment?
You know, I think Shirley, like everybody else apparently on Instagram, she would be baking a lot of bread. There's no flour anywhere in the world. Shirley is somewhere baking, and she probably is praying. And her children never age in the community universe. So she still has a baby and a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old, so she's homeschooling. Hopefully with Malcolm Jamal Warner by her side. So that's what I think she's doing.
All right, Gillian, how is Britta the quarantine? What's she in?
Oh, God. Dan, what am I doing?
Britta, she's trying to protest the protests that are going on to liberate the states. So she's staying 12 feet away.
Oh, wait a minute. Goliath has been died. She have never has be patient. If actually gonna do this, you die. And that's how we do it. The Philistines or Israel is complete.
So we know Troy is still missing. What about?
No, he's back at home.
Oh, really? He just go back home. Yeah, he would just go back home.
What a time
He didn't even notice come back.
No, he's been on a boat.
yeah, he's $14 million now.
Yeah, he's $14 million.
With a stack of pizzas, and the world is on fire.
Yeah, he just does the gift.
It's come true.
Yeah.
So what about Annie? What do you think Annie's doing?
Watching Netflix.
And watching the show.
Can I go back? I think Shirley's watching Disney Plus.
And is Chang still alive?
I think Chang is alive, but he's with he found his charred mannequin leg that he'd been dating for a while, and I think he got back together with Veronica.
Arizona.
Arizona.
All backwards. It's still Arizona.
Still Arizona.
And Danny, is Abed's first movie out? What's it titled? What do you think?
Ooh, a lot of documentaries happening at Abed's house right now. Documenting a lot of things. He's probably rewatching different series and ranking them in different orders. So he's probably watching all the police academies, all the seasons of Community, and ranking them in his favorite order. I will say I've been watching Community with my kids. Questionable parenting, but it's been really fun. And I had to explain to them all the different items that everyone had with them during the timeline episode. So, because they're like, why does Annie have a gun in her purse? It freaks out.
Live in a terrible neighborhood.
I know. I love
He lives above the Dildopolis.
But then Britta also had she had her stuff in there, so I was like, oh, you know what? If I was actually quarantined, I'd probably want to quarantine with Britta because she at least has some drugs with her. So that'd be
So it's has to been fair. It's probably like I know it's been playing with you. They said I'm not playing with you anymore. He always can make some mad. Remember? But that little Mars had to be hard enough watching Netflix and watching the show, and maybe you went to steal the card and hide me tweaks. This is the real I say. A really good teams.
Danny will send us group text or individual text of his kids doing voice text of what they like. And both of his kids' voices are like kind of raspy and delicious. So you'll get a voice text going, I liked when Shirley had the brownie Bible. Like, it is the most amazing thing, and he sends them at random times. So thank you to Fiona and James.
We watched the foosball and they loved it. I totally forgot about Nick Kroll jumping up.
Oh my God, so good.
Foosball player bit.
Oh yeah,
genius.
He's genius.
And then that joke, Dan, afterwards, I was like, he just gave us that ball. Like a $20 bit.
Just walking around with a soccer ball just to do that bit.
But then when Matt and Joel in that game, it's awesome. It goes from you guys to childhood to anime version. It's such an amazing sequence. It's been really fun to rewatch with them. It's also been really interesting trying to explain like Laser Lotus theology.
VCR games.
Yes,
that's sperm.
Even our phones. It's been interesting watching when we pull out our phones, all the Blackberries and everything like that.
Ew, what are those?
You serious? Oh yeah.
All right, Jim. What's the dean up to? What kind of masks is he wearing? What how is he costumed for the quarantine?
Well, he's definitely quarantined at the school. That's for sure. Full run of it.
He did, and everybody. I felt like I was always sort of learning from everyone's different styles of comedy.
Yeah.
And that evolved over seasons until we just all had this mass sense of humor together. And anyone who came in, we'd be like, sorry, we have inside jokes from
Did it to Pedro today.
I know. We sort of danced around this, but the movie question, you guys all get it constantly. Joel, I even asked you about it the other week. You said you were more optimistic than ever.
And get ready to the action figure to save Christmas. And it's coming on October 2023. Like a Halloween, a tribute Christmas as far as to like. And I hope you join to the show to a special bonus episode of Dave and the Giant Living. And that's it.
You guys all ready? I mean, is everyone up
You asked me about the movie Extraction, not a
talking about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, which I don't know.
We can't make movies right now anyway, right? Like, isn't that
Donald? Good answer, Donald. Donald, thank you for that little bit of knee I asked for earlier. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for letting me be a part of this as well. Love you.
Thank you,
Mike.
Thank you, Michael.
I love you guys so much.
Thank you, Michael.
See you around, peoples. David's Kingdom and beyond. Well, David, I should hope you'll like it. Yeah, this is like be a whole time to the table read. That is the pork down in the hungry. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed to the very bonus episode. Always remember, God make you special, and He loves you very much. Goodbye.